The sun beat down over the rusted hills of Earth's last great scrapyard, its rays glinting off the skeletal remains of broken starships and shattered crawler tanks. Wind howled low across the dunes of metal, tugging at the tattered coat of a man who walked alone, boots crunching on gravel and rust flakes. His name was Dane Maddox, ex-salvage hauler, ex-soldier, ex-everything. Dane wasn't looking for trouble that day. He was looking for a plasma relay to fix his water purifier. That's all. Nothing heroic, nothing noble. Then he heard the sound. It was faint at first. A sharp clatter. A cough. A whisper of movement under the frame of a downed transport. He crouched low, instinct taking over. Pulling aside a shredded cargo tarp, he peered inside and froze. Two figures stared back at him. First was a small girl, no older than 7 or 8 by his guess. Blue skin, large slanted eyes that shimmered like glass, and copper-red hair braided in a mess of knots. Clinging to her protectively was a woman, her mother, clearly, emaciated, exhausted, eyes wild with fear. Both wore clothes barely hanging together, more patches than fabric. The girl clutched a broken hydrospanner like it was a sword. The woman hissed in alien tongue, Zarelli, if Nain remembered right from his border patrol days. He raised his hands, speaking slowly, gently. "I'm not here to hurt you. You need food? Water?" The girl looked at her mother. She nodded once, barely. Dane took off his canteen and set it down near them, backing away. He didn't push. He just waited. They drank like they hadn't seen clean water in days. Their names were Nera and her daughter Telly. Refugees, hidden aboard a freighter that dumped them when supplies ran short. They'd wandered for days before finding shelter in the junkyard, where even the local gangs didn't bother to look. "When I go to the city?" Dane asked, once they trusted him enough to talk. "Alien permits," Nera rasped. "And some humans don't want our kind." She didn't need to elaborate. Dane knew the world well enough. After the Orion Wars, distrust of alien races was at a peak again. Earth was closed border in all but name. Anyone found undocumented was thrown into holding or worse. Telly poked at a melted droid head with fascination. "She likes machines," Nera said, offering a faint smile. "She thinks they still dream." Dane looked around the ruin they'd made their shelter. Bare scrap walls, an old shuttle canopy for a roof. No insulation, no heat. Nights were brutal here. "Can't leave you like this," he muttered. "You've done enough," Nera said, trying to sound strong. "You brought water." Dane shook his head. "That's not what I meant." It started with a generator core he had been hoarding for trade. He set it up on the hill above their shelter and wired in a few solar panels. It powered a heater, a purifier, and even a few lights. Tally's eyes lit up like stars when they first flicked on. "I can see," she squealed. Next came the shelter frame. He found old cargo containers buried under the slag heap, cut, welded, and fused into walls and rooms. He scrounged insulation from shuttle pods, windows from wrecked dropcrafts. He even found an intact shower stall from a ruined freighter and got it working. Telly called it the Waterfall. Nera watched with quiet disbelief as, day by day, the heap of rust around them became a home. "I don't understand," she said one evening, as Dane hammered sheet metal into a makeshift front door. "Why are you helping us?" Dane paused. "Because once someone did the same for me." He didn't say more, and she didn't ask. Word traveled fast in the junkyard. By week 2, a few rough types came sniffing around. Dane met them at the gate with a recharged rail pistol and a glare that spoke of wars fought and won. "They're under my protection," he said simply. No one argued. He taught Telly to solder, to strip wire, identify alloys, build simple circuits. Her tiny hands were nimble, her curiosity unending. He watched her work by lamplight at night, brow furrowed, tongue poking out as she pieced together a cracked data pad from scrap. Nayera cooked what little they had, mostly preserved ration bricks, and roasted root pods grown wild between the hulls of old ships. One evening, she surprised Dane with a stew. "Where'd you get spices?" he asked, eyes wide. She smirked. A Zarelli never reveals her secrets. It was the first time he'd seen her smile with her eyes. Then came the drone. It was late, past midnight when the whine of an atmospheric scanner swept through the yard. Dane jumped up, grabbed his rifle, and checked the perimeter. It was a city drone, likely searching for undocumented aliens. It hovered close, scanning heat signatures. Nayera froze. Telly buried her face in her mother's arms. "Stay inside," Dane growled. He stepped into the open, flashlight in hand, waving toward the drone with practiced ease. "Just me here," he called. "Looking for parts. Got a license. Want to see?" The drone paused. Its red eye flickered. Dane's heart pounded. Eventually, it drifted away. He didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning, he found Nayera waiting at the edge of the yard with a small pack on her back. "We can't stay," she said softly. "We're putting you in danger." "You think I built all this just to let you walk away?" Dane asked. She looked away. "You've been kind. Too kind. But you'll get caught. And they'll take her. I won't let that happen." Telly clung to her leg, confused and afraid. Dane stared at them for a long time, then turned on his heel and walked away. He returned 10 minutes later with an old mining crawler, its engine coughing but functional. "Get in," he said. Nayera blinked. "Where are we going?" "To finish what I started." The crawler took them deep into the junkyard, farther than any drone dared go, past the wrecked orbital tower, past the decaying fusion tanks, to a place Dane had once sworn he'd never revisit, the southeast dead zone, a vast crater of metal and bone, abandoned since the early Earth-Tarkari battles. But Dane knew it hid something special, an old maintenance substation buried in the side of the crater wall, reinforced, shielded, hidden. They spent the next 5 days rebuilding it. By the end of it, the station had rooms, a hydroponic grow bed, filtered air, and a self-sustaining water loop. Dane taught Telly how to prime the backup batteries. Nayera patched holes in the sleeping bunks. It wasn't just shelter, it was safety. On the 7th day, Nayera took his hand. "You gave us more than a home," she said. "You gave us dignity, hope, a future." Dane looked down at her fingers, rough from work, calloused like his own. "I just did what anyone should," he replied. "No," she said. "Not anyone would." Telly ran up, holding something in her hands, a tiny droid she'd rebuilt from scrap. It whirred to life, blinking happily. "I named him Scrappy," she declared. "He guards the home now." Nayera laughed, the sound rich and full. Dane smiled, just a little. For the first time in years, something in his chest stirred. A weight lifted. Months later, when patrol drones swept the yard again, they found only rust and silence. But deep underground, in a home built from forgotten things, a child laughed, a mother sang, and a man who had once wandered alone now sat at a table with a family he never expected to find. He'd gone looking for a plasma relay. Instead, he found purpose. And in the quiet hum of recycled air and tinkering tools, the junkyard echoed with new life, the kind you couldn't scrap, no matter how broken the world had become.